The FIFA Women's World Cup kicks off tomorrow in Australia. Canada going into the tournament ranked 7th in the world and will face Nigeria in their first matchup. TSN's Claire Hanna is in Melbourne and joins us with more this morning. Good morning to you.
Hey, Lindsey.
Okay, we're all so pumped here. I can't imagine what it's like there. So we know Canada is in Group B, along with Australia, Ireland, Nigeria. And I understand it's been coined the Group of Death. How come?
Yeah, okay. These teams are really good, and they kind of bring some different styles of play. So Nigeria might not be ranked very high, but besides this last year, they have won the African Cup of Nations 3 times. So they're really good. They have some really good strikers that Canada also hasn't seen in recent friendlies. Then you've got Ireland. This is actually the first time they've made the World Cup, but they've recently had some really strong friendlies. They play a different style, a risky style of soccer, and so you don't really know what to expect from them. And then, of course, Australia, they're the hosts. They have so much power behind them. They've got Sam Kerr. She is one of the best football players in the world, maybe the best football player right now, and you just never know with a home team. They could come out so strong. They've got the power of the crowd behind them. So this is definitely a dangerous group for Canada.
When we look at our team, Team Canada, how has the dynamic changed since they won gold at the Olympics in 2021?
Okay, well, the biggest difference, I'm going to say, is goalkeeper. Stephanie Labbe, she had that nickname, the Minister of Defense, after she made those crazy saves in that final against Sweden. We all remember that. Now they've got a new goalkeeper, and it's Kaylin Sheridan, but she comes with a really solid reputation. She was the NWSL Goalkeeper of the Year. She's just really proven herself a lot, but this is her first major international start. So I'm assuming she's going to have some nerves, but we've been watching her at training camp. This morning, she was jamming out to the Spice Girls and the Backstreet Boys, looking really loose. And in some of the friendlies we've seen her playing in recently, she's just been unreal. So I think she brings a lot of confidence, and head coach Bev Priestman says she's never seen her feel so comfortable.
Okay, so you're there, you're talking to people, you're getting all the feels. What does it feel like to be there?
Well, I would say the first 2 weeks we were here, which was on the Gold Coast, that was during their training camp. We showed up when the roster had just been announced. And that was an emotional day because for some players, they weren't making the roster. Some of it was due to injury. I'm going to give a shout out to Desiree Scott. She's one of the veterans on this team who's really built Soccer Canada into what it is right now. She didn't make it back from an injury in time. So that was really emotional for the team. But then there was some players like Olivia Smith, 18 years old. She was brought to training camp just to be an extra body. And then all of a sudden, Bev Priestman, she said she impressed her so much, she made the squad. So you've got these really highs and lows. But then after they announced the roster, the team just kind of had this sense of focus. Okay, this is who we're bringing to the World Cup. Since they've arrived in Melbourne, where we've been now for about 4 days, this was their 3rd training today, it is dialed in, eye of the tiger. They are very focused. The intensity has been upped. So, but I think they're ready and excited at this point because they've just been training for so long. They're like, let's get on the pitch.
Yeah,
let's get this game going.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Claire, you know, you and I just talked about the fact that our team is playing Nigeria tomorrow. We know that's a team at odds with its federation over pay equity, a topic that Canadian women are all too familiar with. How are we already seeing pay issues impact this tournament?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. And Nigeria is dealing with it, as you mentioned, just to kind of shed some light on their situation. Their head coach, up until 3 weeks ago, was owed 14 months worth of pay. He wanted to have a training camp to select players. Their federation actually pressured him to select players that he hadn't even seen. When he refused to take them, they didn't allow him to bring his longtime assistant coach. So that's issues with the Nigerian Federation. I asked Quinn today if there's some camaraderie between the two teams, just based on the fact that Canada Soccer has dealt with their own gender equity issues. And Quinn said, you know what? We always stand with people who are dealing with this because we're all trying to elevate the game. So I think for the Canadians, they're really trying to make sure this is not a distraction. They don't have a CBA agreement in place yet. They were hoping to by this first match. I believe that could still happen. But what they learned at the She Believes Cup back in February, when this whole gender equity thing was really coming to the forefront, is that it can be such a distraction that right now they need to focus on the World Cup. So I don't sense that they're as exhausted as they were back in February. Right now, it's all about Nigeria on Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. TSN's Claire Hanna, thanks so much. Great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
And you can catch all the FIFA Women's World Cup action starting tomorrow on TSN.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.